Welcome, photo class. I'm going to do a really short video here to show you how to fake out this effect here, which is really the effect of having a very short depth of field, which on a camera is achieved by using a very large aperture. But knowing that many of you are now not able to use a camera, but you're using your camera or your phone cameras, what I'd like for you to do for this next project, which is our aperture project, is to use your iPhones and your Samsungs and shoot photographs, but then fake out this effect. Okay, and I want to show you how to do that. I want to show you what this image started as. Okay, if I can here, yeah, let's do this. I'm going to delete this layer mask. Okay, this was the original image. This would be a long depth of field. It's achieved with a small aperture. If you're using a DSLR, you would just shoot the picture. You would then shoot the same picture with a large aperture, so a small f-stop like an f2 or an f1.8, and then you would get a blurry background. Okay, I'm going to show you how to fake that. And I think this is the best way I found. There's several ways, but this is one way that's kind of comfortable, or should feel comfortable to you. You got your image, okay? First thing you're going to want to do is duplicate that layer. And I might even make a third duplicate just so that I have like one that I can still always go back to in case I mess anything up. We'll just turn off that last one, make it invisible, so we only work with the two, okay? So this top image is going to be the foreground. Let's just rename it. Where do I find rename? How about if I just click it and click it again? I'm going to call this foreground. And I'm going to call this what? Background. Okay. The foreground should be crisp and clear. The background should be blurry. So I'm going to turn off the foreground so I'm only working on the background. What you want to do on the background layer then is apply a filter. The best filter I think we can use is under the blur filters, obviously, and there's one called Gaussian blur. I don't know what Gaussian means. I think it's Latin for blur. No, I really have no idea. What's cool though is that you can blur it by just moving the slider. Okay, you can go really blurry, you can go kind of blurry. And that's why I thought I'd make one more background layer, because if I make it too blurry and it looks terrible, I can just delete this background and start over. I'm going to do that. That kind of feels, maybe I'll go a little more. Okay, somewhere like that. And I'm going to hit OK. So this now becomes my blurry background layer. Here's my nice crisp foreground layer. Then what I'm going to do is put a layer mask on the foreground, which you're used to. And I'm going to make all of this invisible so that you can see the fuzziness come through. Okay, let's just, we'll just leave them both on. Make the foreground layer active, click on your layer mask, boom. Grab a paintbrush. Since white is not doing anything, I know I want to paint it with black to make it blurry. Let's go with a big paintbrush. Make sure you're painting on the layer mask and not on the photo. Okay, if you paint on the photo, you get bad things happening. Command Z. If you paint on there, ta-da, you're all of a sudden painting blurriness, and it just makes you so happy inside. Okay, pretty cool. Now I'm going to just turn this off so you can see what's happening. Okay, this is all going see-through. Like that. Smaller paintbrush, bracket tool. Start getting more detailed. Okay, it looks like it's a hard edge paintbrush. I'm going to want to probably go to a fuzzy paintbrush when I get close to my image so that it really doesn't look fake. You're going to find what's really hard is if you have like flyaway hair, you have to decide where you stop blurring things out. Okay, and that's what you may have noticed on your iPhone. It can do a really bad job when it tries to fake this out. Okay, so now maybe we can go even smaller. And I'm going to come up here, make the hardness pretty, almost like it 0. And see, now it's going to fuzz it out. Okay. And if I were to start, probably now I'm going to want to turn back on my background. Let's zoom in there, turn on the background, and you can see what's happening. Okay, and you want to make it look amazing. Now I've noticed it does some weird things, similar to what a phone does. It seems to blur things together. Like on the edge of my bright red jacket, as I did this before, all of a sudden it like blurred it, but right now it's not doing it, which is good. But if you see weird things happen, that's where you have to make a judgment call and try to make it look realistic. Okay, but that's it. What I'd like for you to do for this assignment, the aperture assignment, is you're going to take a dozen pictures, 12 pictures, okay, and then save one as a crisp and clear photo that looks like it has a very long depth of field, okay, and that in the real world on a real camera would be done with a tiny aperture. I'm going to double click the hand. Okay, it's looking good, but obviously I have to finish up here. But what you want is 12 pictures. Okay, one picture would look 100% crisp and clear, like that. Okay, so that's totally crisp and clear. The other picture would look like this, so that you got a blurry background. And then put both of them onto the slideshow like I asked you to do. So one side is going to say short depth of field, one side would say long depth of field. And then I can't remember ultimately if you give me a Google slideshow or if you put it on your Weebly page, but that info is on Canvas for you. Okay, hopefully this explained it to you. If you have any questions, please email me and I'll get back to you right away if it's during school hours. Otherwise, I'll email you back the next day. Hope everyone's doing great. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk next week. Adios.